What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Prediction Center here at Three-Sided Box. Today we are jumping into week 2 already. Johnny is not with us at the moment. Work schedule and all this other stuff coming into ruining our plans, but it's all good. I got his picks here. Send them to me. So yeah, let's start off with the Thursday nighter for week 2. It's the New York Jets against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Rex Ryan facing his old team again. Who do you have winning this match?
It's a bit interesting. Usually the Bills do well beginning of the season. They lost last week. Jets obviously lost last week, and what I thought that they would win actually pretty handedly against the Bengals. A pretty interesting matchup, division rivals, but if I had to go with the team, I'd probably go with the Jets. They're going to be probably in the mix for the playoffs come season's end, and if you go 0-2, you don't. Chances are you're probably not going to make it. So it's a big game, divisional game. So I'm going to roll with the Jets on this one.
Oh, Johnny's screaming Jets, Jets also, and I'm going to agree. The Bills were kind of, I don't know what the right word is. I wouldn't say pathetic, but
their offense was
very disappointing. That's more of the proper term. They weren't like the worst team on planet Earth, but they were pretty close, and there's some expectations on that team, like there always is for some reason, especially now that Rex Ryan's there. And the Jets put up a good fight against the Bengals. It was a good matchup, a lot closer than I thought it'd be. I thought the Bengals would kind of run away with it, to be honest with you. A little bit disappointed that Revis didn't play as good against AJ Green as I thought he would. But you could tell age is kind of creeping up on the guy now. But who the Bills have? I don't even know if Watkins is even playing this week. So yeah, Jets for all three of us. Let's see what happens.
All right. So next up, we got the Carolina Panthers going up against the 49ers for coming off a pretty surprising win. What do you got?
Well, Chip Kelly literally played like Chip Kelly when he was coaching the Eagles. I was getting flashbacks of the same plays over and over again, the way everything went together. And Blaine Gabbert, although they shut LA out, which is really not saying much, like Blaine Gabbert had like a lot of really bad passes throughout the game, and he really wasn't playing that great. It was basically like, I can't even explain it. I don't know. But the Niners,
it was a bad game.
Yeah, like LA sucks. That's just simple as that. I feel bad for that city that they got like a bad team. It's funny. There's a meme going around that you could take the Rams out of St. Louis, but you can't take St. Louis out of the Rams. So there's that. With that, I'm gonna pick the Panthers. They're pissed that they lost. It was a very close game against the Broncos last week, and it's in Carolina. 49ers have a lot of attention on them, not for the right reasons. Nobody's talking about the fact that they beat LA. Everyone's talking about Kaepernick. Plain and simple. And we finally know why he grew his hair like an idiot, so he could, do those stupid cornrows. But that's another thing in itself. Whatever. The whole national anthem thing, maybe we'll do it some other time. We'll have a discussion when Johnny's here or something. I'm not against it, I'm not for it. I think there's different ways of doing it, but that's for another thing. I'm picking the Panthers to win. Who do you have?
The Panthers have had more than pretty much a week, come Sunday to kind of like lick their wounds off a very physical game against Denver.
Yeah.
And, obviously Denver is a fantastic defense. And as you said, they're pretty pissed off that they lost a pretty close game to, the team they lost in the Super Bowl. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to be very happy. And unfortunately for the Niners, they're going to have to, feel their wrath. It's in Carolina. It's just not going well for the Niners, to be honest. I expect not the biggest blowout, but pretty much like a 3 touchdown
it's possible
game that the Panthers put on the Niners.
Yeah. Johnny says Panthers too. I'm pretty sure for the same reasons me and you both stated. So yeah, 3 Panthers. Let's see what happens next. So next up is an NFC East rivalry matchup, my division. The Dallas Cowboys are heading into the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. to face the Washington Redskins. An interesting matchup. Who do you have winning? And just another point out, Cowboys are facing two divisional teams
In
back
a
to
row.
back in the first 2 weeks of football.
I don't think I've ever seen that before, actually.
I don't think the Eagles are playing anybody divisional until like weeks 5 or 6.
Yeah, same. I think same with the Raiders. It's really weird. I don't know. I've never seen that before, but nonetheless, it's that's how it's scheduled.
Yeah.
Redskins just came off getting destroyed by the Steelers. But
Which I predicted.
yeah, I mean it's pretty obvious. I didn't think it'd be
Not really,
that bad,
but I it was very obvious.
The thing is with the Redskins that they move the ball decently well, at least passing through the air. They have good weapons on offense. Their defense will come together later on, and I really don't think the Cowboys pose the biggest threat to them. I mean, like they have a good offensive line. The Cowboys, I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I think Dez is going to have a better game than he did last week, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I don't see the Redskins going 0-2, so I'm going to go with the Redskins.
Yeah, Johnny does not agree with you. He's picking an upset, which is going against Kirk Cousins, which is very weird. He's picking the Cowboys to win it. I don't know why we haven't gone to that much of a conversation about it. For me, I'm going to pick Washington based on the fact that the Cowboys were completely on defense, like non-existent. With the Giants were able to run as if there was nothing at all, whatsoever.
At least later in the game.
Yeah, like their D line is completely depleted. They I don't know what their safeties are. I don't know who their corners are. I don't know who their linebackers are. I'm sorry, they're not good. And the Redskins, although they got destroyed, they did move the ball relatively well. The biggest question with the Redskins, though, is why are you paying Josh Norman $50 million guaranteed to have him not cover the top receiver? And people are saying, well, the Steelers placed Brown on the other side to intentionally avoid Norman. Well, that's kind of what a receiver's supposed to do, is to avoid coverage. So yes, they would always play to his advantage. It's the defense's problem to go and make sure they get covered.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, he's running away, he's a bitch, he's trying to get yards. That's his job. You're supposed to stop him. So Josh Norman, let's see what you got against Dez. If you line up against him, you shouldn't have no problem stopping him. The guy had 1 catch for 8 yards. He was completely shut down against the Giants, and people say the Giants not their secondary is garbage, but their corners are good with DRC and whoever's on the other side.
Janoris Jenkins and Eli Apple.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so if they're able to do it, then Josh Norman should have absolutely no issue shutting down Dez, especially with a rookie quarterback. And Zeke did not look good with that O-line. 51 yards on like 20-something carries.
They did hold the box.
Pathetic. Anyways, so Redskins, Johnny for some reason has the Cowboys. See what happens.
Alright, so next up we got the Bengals heading into the Steel City to play the Steelers at Heinz Field.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you got?
This is an interesting matchup.
Bigger rivalry.
Huge rivalry. Along the line, I think this is going to play to what happens later on in the season. This game's going to have big implications for later on. That being said, the Bengals won very marginally by 1 point, and the Steelers basically destroyed the Redskins, as we just said before. With that, it's going to be hard for me to pick, but I'm going to just give it to the Steelers just because it's in Pittsburgh. Antonio Brown pretty much established himself as the best receiver in football yesterday. And AJ Green is a complete monster, he's a beast. He's arguably second or third best receiver in football. But they didn't play that impressively against the Jets. Like, they won, but I wasn't super impressed with them. It was a good game, but I expected the Bengals to come out with a lot more space between them and the Jets in terms of score. So I'm giving it to the Steelers to take it.
In that Bengals game, I don't think people give enough credit to that Jets D-line. I know Dalton was sacked like 4 or 5 times. They got destroyed that game.
Yeah.
And, it's credit to them because they still came back. They still won the game against a really good opponent, away, on the road.
Yeah, for
so,
sure.
I mean, it's a really, that was a really impressive win, at least from my perspective, for the Bengals. But regardless, I'm still going to go with the Steelers. In my opinion, I think both teams are going to split at home.
Yeah.
And I think that the Steelers use that momentum that they got from, their Monday night, destruction of the Redskins, and use it to beat the Bengals in a very, very heated rivalry.
Yeah, well, arguably these two got the two nicest color rush
yeah.
jerseys. Bengals are wearing the white tiger color, which everyone knows I'm a big Power Ranger fan. Tommy the White Ranger is my favorite Tiger Sword Power. So that's cool, and the Steelers have a really cool black and yellow design. Yes, their regular home jersey is yellow and black with yellow, but they changed it up a little bit, and it looks really crisp and clean.
Yeah.
Johnny's also giving it to the Steelers to take this one. Big Ben and Antonio Brown could have career years this year, and I hope the Bengals win, but I think we're all going to agree with the Steelers this week.
Yeah, and to add on that point, just as a little thing that I saw a stat, is over the past 16 games, I think Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown have, I think Brown has had over 2,000 yards receiving, and I think 16 touchdowns. It was something ridiculous like that. That is unreal. That's unheard of.
Well, we'll see what happens. That black and yellow meets that orange and black next game. Next up, another matchup for the NFC East is the New Orleans Saints are facing the New York Giants, the Battle of the News, in New York. So what do you have coming out of this one, Michael?
Last week, obviously, with the Raiders and Saints, as kind of like what I thought about, it was going to be pretty much a shootout the whole game.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that Drew Brees was that
good.
I knew he was obviously a top 5 quarterback. That was his accuracy is just insane. It doesn't make any sense. And surprisingly enough, that O-line did a really good job. They shut down. I know you don't think so, but one of the best pass rushers in Khalil Mack. A little bit of bias there, but still. Teron Armstead's a really good left tackle, very underrated. So I was really impressed by that. The Giants, to be honest, I don't know what to think about with that Cowboys game because, like I said, with the NFC East, anything's possible. But you know what? I'm just going to go on a limb and say, from what I saw last week, I think it's going to be another shootout, as it was last year when the Giants went to New Orleans and came out with a win. I think the Saints go to New York and come out with a win this time.
Okay, well, Johnny definitely disagrees with you. He's picking Eli and the Giants to win. I'm torn with this one, to be honest with you. I like the Saints. I've always had a soft spot for them. My favorite colors are gold and black, so they have me there at that. I supported them during their playoff run when they won the Super Bowl. For the most part, I didn't really care, but I liked them to win it.
Yeah.
The city of New Orleans has went through a lot with the whole Katrina thing. I have a big soft spot, and obviously I hate the New York Giants. I cannot stand them for multiple reasons. Although I do love the city of New York, I just can't stand the Giants. This is a tough one just because the Giants, you don't know what Giants you're getting. Are you getting the Giants that won 2 Super Bowls, or are you getting the Giants that barely beat the Cowboys and
because a guy didn't run out of bounds.
Yeah, exactly. It's I don't know what to expect, but the safe pick I think would be the Giants, but I'm gonna pick the Saints in an upset of some sorts, just because I think Drew Brees is gonna just light it up, and Eli is gonna make that one crucial mistake, and it's gonna be because the Saints defense. Yeah, they're depleted. Yeah, you guys, marched down the field, but they weren't as bad as I thought they would be.
I
thought they were gonna be a lot worse than that.
They had a corner, Delvin Breaux. He's their number 1 corner. He's pretty solid. He actually came from the CFL, played really well, but he got injured. He broke his fibula, and ever since then, that's when we kind of the Raiders were able to march down the field and put up points. So, like I said, it's hard because they have to cover Odell, but at the same time, the Giants have to cover everybody on that offense who's very talented. So.
Well, I got the Saints, you got the Saints, Johnny's got the Giants, and we'll see what happens in New York.
All right, so next up we got the New England Patriots hosting the Miami Dolphins, who surprisingly put up a fight last week against the mighty Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. What do you got?
There's no way they're losing. They just beat the Cardinals. You tell me they're going to lose to the Dolphins. There's absolutely no way in hell that is possible whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't agree. I do agree with you. I don't disagree with you. The Pats just came off a really, really impressive win. I think Gronkowski should be coming back this week, if I'm not mistaken. But even without him, I just think that they're gonna take it anyways. So I'm gonna roll with the New England Patriots on this one.
I'm actually doing that right now, doing some research if Gronk is playing. let's just go with what he is, because Johnny says if Gronk isn't playing, Dolphins win. But if Gronk is playing, Pats win. So we'll give him the Patriots because I'm pretty sure Gronk is going to play. And even without him, let's be honest, Johnny, I'm doing you a solid here. I'm giving you a W. So Johnny's got the Pats. See, even here, it says it right here. See, it says Dolphins, but in brackets, if Gronk plays, Pats win. I don't know what he's thinking regardless of the fact. But, yeah, he's crazy, clearly. I don't know what he's smoking at the moment. But I'm giving you the Pats. All three of us got the Pats. Let's see what happens next week. Next up is the Kansas City Chiefs against the Houston Texans in Houston. Interesting matchup. Who do you have winning this one?
It's a repeat of playoffs last year, in which the Chiefs destroyed the Texans.
Yes, they did.
I'm not going to say it's going to be destruction. I think it's going to be a very close game. Very tight defensive affair, but I have the Chiefs coming out on top. After that comeback win that they got against the Chargers last week, I don't think that they're going to go down at all actually in this game. I think they're going to get a lead early and they're going to keep that lead.
Okay. So you got the Chiefs?
Got the Chiefs.
Okay. So Johnny agrees. He's going with the Chiefs as well. So am I. I love Andy Reid, love Jeremy Maclin. I'm going to say it every single time. We got to pick the Chiefs. I believe in this team. They could do some damage if they want. They had a really, really bad start against the Chargers last week. But... and the Texans are a lot better than they were this time last year, and a lot better than maybe they've been their whole franchise, to be honest with you.
Maybe.
But I think the Chiefs are going to come and pull out a victory. Andy Reid seems to do well against teams that are good and just really bad against teams that are not so good. So, yeah, Chiefs for all three of us. Let's see what happens.
All right, so next up we got the Tennessee Titans coming to Detroit to play the Lions. Really random matchup. Kind of irrelevant bowl, kind of.
It's up there.
Who do you got?
Well, the Titans had a really good first half last week. And
choked it up.
In typical DeMarco Murray fashion, as I know very well from having him and playing against him, the guy just can't play good in big moments. Reason why he failed last year in Philadelphia is because every moment was big. Because when you play in the city of brotherly love, you better win every single time, or you get out. And clearly, all we needed 1 year to find out this guy isn't good enough for us. That being said, the Detroit Lions, did they win last week? I don't even know.
Yeah, they did. Close game against the Colts.
Oh yeah, they beat Johnny St. Shrek. That was an irrelevant bowl.
It was a good game though.
Yeah, but like no one really cares. I'm gonna give it to. I'm gonna get to the Lions. Screw it. I kind of feel like the Titans might win, but I see the Lions going 2-0 and the hype sweeping through Detroit again, because this team, kind of like the Bills, they've had years where they do really well at the beginning, and their color rush jerseys came out today and they're beautiful. I like that black and silver and light blue. I think they're really nice, considering, no offense to Lions fans, but your jersey reminds me of the Browns jersey. It's just it's a representation of failure. It's true. No, I'm not trying to be harsh, but I'm sorry. They've won nothing. It's fact. It's not. I'm not trying to be a dick.
Very
or anything.
uncharacteristic of a Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. You got the Red Wings. You got the Wolverines. You got the Tigers. These are all historical franchises. I mean, the Red Wings alone is carrying that city for the most part. So yeah, I'm giving it to the Lions.
Tough matchup. I think the Lions were in a shootout with the Colts actually. Andrew Luck went off. He did played really well.
Yeah.
Titans, moved the ball pretty well. Lost a close game to very good team in the Vikings. I think very under the radar since Teddy Bridgewater got injured, but still very good. But regardless, I'm still gonna go with the Lions. I think that they have they can still shut down some teams. I think defensively they got some pretty good talent offensively. I like the Lions. I like the Lions in this one.
Johnny agrees. Also, he's going to go with the team that beat his team last week. So we're all in that silver and blue. But I could see a Titans victory.
For sure.
Too. So
it depends how the first half goes.
Depends how dark Marco Murray decides to play football or decides to play patty cake or hot potato. Because this guy needs to be a man and start playing some football games. Because it's been 2 years, buddy, since you've actually had a good season. So let's pick it up. Lions all the way. Next game. Next up for the last 1 o'clock game of Week 2 of NFL Sunday football is the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. An RG3-less Cleveland Browns. Who would have thought RG3 is going to get hurt in Week 1? News surprised everybody. Who do you have winning?
Man, the Browns are just...
They're the Browns.
They're the Browns. That's a very Browns thing to do. You get a new quarterback named Captain. He's out for like, some redemption this year. I mean, at least in terms of yardage, we all know they're probably not going to make the playoffs. So, I mean, it's just sad, man. It's just sad. I feel so bad for the city of Cleveland and people who go for the Browns. It's terrible. With that being said, the Ravens, I think they're going to destroy the Browns. I really don't see them winning.
Yeah. They had a pretty good game last week too.
Yeah.
Johnny's got the Ravens. I got the Ravens too. The color rush jerseys that they released today were pretty cool. Purple with gold numbers. It should be nice. And the Browns, I mean, RG3, dude, you gotta learn how to protect yourself, man. What are you running to Jalen Mills as if you're trying to truck him? The guy is like standing like an inch out of like on the line, and he just slams right. That guy could have slid to the left or tipped your toe away to the right. The guy wasn't even trying to tackle him. He ran into Jalen Mills.
He needs to just put himself in like bubble wrap.
And you know what's sad? Look, RG3 did not play a great game against Philly, but he played decent.
There's a lot of drops.
Considering, there was like 4 or 5 drops, but there are key drops. And considering he hasn't played in almost a year and a half, basically, he was pretty solid.
I was rooting for him, to be honest.
I was definitely not, because he played the Eagles, but maybe otherwise I would have. But he's not in today. Josh McCown's in this week. So Ravens for all 3 of us. Let's see what happens.
All right, so next up we got the Seattle Seahawks coming into, I was about to say St. Louis, but I realized that it's Los Angeles. The Los Angeles...
It kind of feels like it's in St. Louis.
Pretty much does. The Los Angeles Rams in probably the ultimate trap game of the season. Like, I didn't know that these two teams are playing this early, so it's a really tough pick to make. But who are you going to pick?
Well, LA is they're playing in LA for the first time ever, and yes, I can get that 2 preseason games there, but this is the real first game. It's funny, LA hasn't scored a point since 1992, or something crazy like that, and I was born in 92. Or 94, sorry, their last game in 94, that's what it was. So technically, that streak is older than you, because he's in 95, he was born. I think Seattle's going to completely annihilate them. As much as it's sad, and it's the first game back in Los Angeles, you'd hope, at least for the sake of competitiveness, and because there should be some hype around this game, that the Rams would put up a fight, but I really don't think they will. Unless they pull something out of their ass and they're like, okay, golf's starting, boom. Like the day before the game.
They might as well. Case Keenum doesn't want to throw a ball.
I agree. But I doubt it. Jeff Fisher's not the type of coach to just, surprise people like that. I got the Seahawks. You got the Seahawks. And of course, Johnny has got his LA Rams.
I didn't pick yet. Actually.
You didn't pick?
No.
Didn't you pick?
No, I just started off.
I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, to be honest, I will say I am going with the Seahawks, but I don't know, man. Freaking Pete Carroll has like an aneurysm every time he plays the Rams.
That's true.
Every single time he plays the Rams, he loses. No,
maybe it's the shitty lights in St. Louis.
Even last year it happened where they lost to, I think they might have barely beat the Rams in St. Louis.
Yeah, but
and then they lost at home against
the Rams got killed last week. So I don't know.
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks, but if they lose again, I'm never picking the Seahawks against the Rams.
Okay, well Johnny's got the LA Rams. Obviously he's got to support his city of Angels for some reason, even though he doesn't live there. He's only been there once. He's got a big part of his heart dedicated to that city. You're crazy. Seahawks are definitely going to win this game. Let's see what happens. Next up, an NFC matchup, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Arizona to face the Cardinals. A very interesting matchup. Who do you have winning this one?
Bucks came off a pretty great win against the Falcons, division rival.
I predicted.
All of us did. Cardinals just pretty much just lost straight up to Garoppolo and no Gronk, and pretty much a makeshift O-line that the Pats had. Very disappointing.
Yeah.
Very disappointing of the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I think the Cardinals right the ship this week. Win I think the Bucs are going to keep it close. They're going to keep it close, and then they're going to run away with it. The Cards in the fourth quarter. So, but it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, Johnny's got the Cards too. It's somewhat of an easy pick. The Bucs aren't exactly there yet to really make this like.
They're probably a year away.
A year, maybe two. I got the Cardinals too, picking them to win the Super Bowl. But I will say this: if they lose versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home,
they gotta be worried.
It's a lost season. I'm telling you, for now, they're gonna finish with like 4 or 5 wins. It's gonna be one of those weird years in sports where every year, one good team in a sport, whether it's hockey, football, baseball, basketball, well, maybe not basketball, but every other, teams, leagues with actual competitive, games and parity have this. Every year, there's always that one random team that doesn't do well. Last year was the Ravens. This year, if the Cardinals lose, there's still my Super Bowl pick, but if the Cardinals lose to the Bucs at home in Arizona, they are gonna have a lost year. They're gonna finish with 4 or 5 wins. So we'll see what happens. I got the Cards. You've got the Cards. Johnny's got the Cards. Sorry, Eric. It's kind of a hard game to pick for you. But yeah, let's see what happens.
All right. So next up, we probably got the most boring matchup and probably the least viewed matchup of the week.
Irrelevant Bowl. Yeah. Like the first official Irrelevant Bowl of the 2016-2017 NFL
until like the Bills and the Dolphins play each other, at like 1 o'clock on like week 7 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but that's when this is the first official one.
Exactly.
Like this is number 1 of this season. Like last week there was kind of maybe here and there.
But since it's week 1, you can't really predict.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is official Irrelevant Bowl.
It's both teams have potential to be.
Did you say what the teams are?
Oh yeah, my bad. Jags going into San Diego to play the Chargers. Both teams have a lot of potential. Jags, put up a really good fight against the Packers. Chargers should have won against a really AFC contender in the Chiefs. So it's obviously like they're both not like scrubs. They're both not pushovers, but both don't know how to win exactly. With that being said, I have the Jags coming out with a win here. Chargers, I think there's just too much going on. Keenan Allen, their top receivers, out for season, torn ACL, he's done. I thought he'd have a great year, and it's really unfortunate. He's like one of the only guys I really like on the Chargers. But yeah, with that being said, I still think the Jags are going to come out with a win.
Yeah, Johnny's got the Jags too. They're a team that's young, up and coming, and has a lot of potential to do really well. The Chargers, on the other hand, are a team that's kind of stuck in limbo. They haven't been doing well lately. They've been getting a lot of high draft picks. Joey Bosa and everything was actually active because Allen's now out. It's still a tough one to give to the Chargers because they completely collapsed in that game. They started off well, but I think it was just more the Chiefs were just nowhere to be found. Like they were playing into a bunch of cones, and then the Chiefs are like, oh yeah, we're playing football today. It's not preseason.
Where are they going to be mentally at the Chargers though? That's what I'm worried about. Like where are they going to be like mentally after a loss like that? After you give up like 17 points in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Without scoring anything,
That's what Andy Reid does to you. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Jags too, just because I feel like I don't think they're gonna be great by any means this year. Maybe not even the next 2-3 years, but they're definitely going in the right direction. Whereas I feel the Chargers are taking steps back. So all 3 of us got the Jags. Let's see what happens.
All right. So next up, we got the Atlanta Falcons coming into the Black Hole to play my Raiders, who just came off a pretty emotional win themselves. Who do you got?
I don't know. I don't know. The Falcons did not play very well last week. Julio Jones played well, but everybody else.
He had mediocre numbers by his standards.
Yeah, exactly. But like a regular NFL receiver, which most of the teams don't have these crazy all-star receivers. No. That's a pretty good damn game. But the Raiders, so they shocked me. They won in a hostile environment in a game I did not think they were gonna win. I was impressed. Overall, their defense was complete garbage.
Swiss cheese.
But their offense proved at least enough to pick it up. And the Saints are way better than the Falcons, in my opinion. Offensively, they got Julio Jones, the Falcons, but Drew Brees is better than Julio Jones. If you have to pick one yes, don't look at their age. obviously.
Drew Brees could make anybody be an all-star.
Exactly. I mean,
he's like a Brady.
He can turn me into Julio Jones. And Julio Jones basically carrying that team on his back. Matt Ryan is, he's all right. Everybody else is complete crap. And the Raiders, I think Julio Jones is going to have a big game, but I think the Raiders are going to come out on top by 3 points.
If I'll say one thing is that, Sean Smith had a really bad game last week, like really bad.
As I predicted.
He had a really, really bad game. And I'm not saying he's like, super locked down, he's a top corner in the league, but, he's above average and he's a big guy. I think he's going to redeem himself this week. I don't think he's going to necessarily shut down Julio Jones, but I think he'll do a good enough job. Way better job than he did last week.
Anything is where were your safeties?
No, Reggie Nelson played a good game, man.
I don't know. That 98-yard.
That was zero coverage though. We had no safeties over the top. That's the coverage call.
Oh,
that's Ken
coordinator.
That's Ken Norton not being smart.
All right. Well, Johnny's got the Raiders too. He's always had your back on that. He's somewhat of a believer too. So let's see what happens. I do think that the Falcons could pull off a win though in this run. It's possible. But I'm gonna give it to the Raiders. Me and Johnny are gonna wear that black and silver this week. Let's see what happens. Next up, for what looks like America's Game of the Week. Or, no, none of them are. Which is weird. I guess
it more or less is.
Yeah, well, it's because usually Fox is America's Game of the Week unless they change it up. Anyways, Colts at Broncos. Usually you'd say Manning versus his old team, but obviously Peyton Manning has retired. Moving on, Trevor Siemian now. Who do you have winning this one, Michael? Johnny's Colts, might I add.
Johnny's Colts, yeah. I really don't see the Colts coming out of Mile High with a win. I can't picture a headline saying that. I can't picture, I can't picture it. I just think that the Broncos defense is just, it's too good. Even with the losses they had, they're still, top 3 at least. I think they're still behind Seattle, but regardless, they're still a very, very good defense. I don't think it's going to be a very high, passing, I don't think the Broncos are going to pass a lot. I think they're going to use C.J. Anderson and their drafted running back, I forget his name, Booker, and they're just going to run on the Colts. I think the Colts defense just, man, their fronts on both sides just aren't good, and that's just not good football, man. That's not a good way to build a team.
Their best player on defense, basically, is Trent Cole. And I love 5'8".
It's Vontae Davis, the corner.
I love me some 5'8", but he's getting old, and you gotta, we replaced him.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, anyways. So you got the Broncos.
I unfortunately got the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Broncos. But although Andrew Luck had a great game last week,
and he does play well against the Broncos.
But that's a Manning thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm gonna give it to the Broncos just solely because it's in Mile High. That defense, you argue, but I say it could be once in a generational defense. They're really good. And the Colts, I don't think they're there yet to compete with a defense like this.
Definitely not.
But just because it is the Colts and it is the 2 Manning former teams, who knows what could happen.
If there is a really wild upset, this is it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the safe picks the Broncos. For Johnny's sake, I would like the Colts to win, because that'd be huge for him. And
I would love the Colts to win. That'd be do me a solid in the division, man.
Yeah, so we both got the Broncos. Let's see what happens.
All right, next up for our Sunday nighter, we got the Green Bay Packers heading into Minnesota to play the Minnesota Vikings. Divisional affair, NFC North. Who do you got?
Well, the biggest question here is Glass Knee Sammy Sleeves going to finally start? Based on how Sean Hill played, I don't think so. I'm not saying Sean Hill's going to be the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. I just think he had a good enough game to at least get one more week. And he's going to get killed. And then they're going to start Sam Bradford in week 3. Packers. This is Sunday Night Football. Mind you, it is the Vikings' debut in their new stadium, so that could be big. But if the Titans, whose defense is not that great,
improved but not that great,
could shut down Adrian Peterson, I think the Packers, who have a better defense, again not that great but still a better defense, could have no issue with that. But this is a divisional game. Anything could happen. It's not as wild as the NFC East, but it is so wild. The NFC North is probably the second wildest division in the NFC in terms of randomness, just because the rivalries in the NFC East and North are like true rivalries.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, but I'm giving it to the Packers, and Sean Hill pulled within like halfway through the third quarter, and Sam Bradford starting from here on out.
Yeah, you pretty much read my mind. I like the Vikings. I just don't see them winning this game this early in the season against the Packers. I thought these teams would play later, but unfortunately not. I got the Packers going to this one.
Yeah, Johnny's got the Packers too. It's hard to pick against them. Who did they beat last week?
Jags.
And although the Jags put up a pretty good fight, the Packers proved too much.
It wasn't the heat. It wasn't Jacksonville.
Yeah, exactly. So Packers are an easy. In prime time, man. Aaron Rodgers just seems to turn it on in prime time. I don't remember seeing him lose in prime time in my life. Maybe an NFC Championship game or something like that here and there, but. Packers all the way for all of us. Let's see what happens. For the last matchup of Week 2 of the NFL season is my Philadelphia Eagles in the lights of Monday Night Football going against the Chicago Bears. They're stepping into the greatest city in the USA, Chicago. Let's see what happens. Who do you got winning this game, Michael?
Unfortunately for the natives of Chicago, in that terrible teams that they have.
Stanley Cup champions,
Blackhawks bandwagoners, Cubs bandwagoners.
What Cubs are bandwagoners?
Bandwagon City, pretty much.
It's the Cubs are bandwagoners.
Regardless of
that team has been struggling for years, and they've constantly sold
out. I'm not listening. Point is that, fortunately for the great city of Chicago, as you always say, the Eagles are coming into town, and Chicago sucks. So what's gonna happen is the Eagles are gonna run down on them.
I'm okay with it. You're not insulting me. I'm okay with that.
It's gonna be a good game. I don't think it's going to be like last Monday night when I think 2 years ago when the Eagles played the Bears and it was just destruction.
Well, let's just say we always struggle against the Bears. That's fact.
Not last time you played. Last time you.
Yeah, okay, but that was like because
2 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm saying it's not going to be like that, but it's going to be. I still think the Eagles are going to come out though, and I think their front seven's too good. The Bears, besides Kyle Long, he's playing with a torn, I think, shoulder, like a labrum or something like that. I mean, throughout the whole season, he can't do it on his own. How are you going to block Fletcher Cox? So it's going to be rough. I know it's rough going for that center, going up Vince Wilfork. Now Fletcher Cox coming up the middle.
Jim Schwartz now.
Exactly, Jim Schwartz coming.
And he knows that division.
Bye-bye, Chicago.
Johnny's got my Eagles too. Who wouldn't pick them? Obviously, I'm not allowed to really give a pick, but everyone knows what we're rooting for. We're actually going to probably go watch it at a restaurant with... a friend of mine who's a huge Bears fan. So that should be an interesting one to experience for us. But the Eagles and the Bears usually put on good games. But that also could have been because McNabb's from Chicago and maybe the whole Chicago thing was, in his head.
Maybe.
But yeah, you're right. Recently we did beat them by a lot. So anything's possible. I'm hoping for an Eagles win. That's been it for Week 2 of NFL predictions. Hopefully Johnny will be back with us next week. I'm pretty sure he will. We have a few things in the works regarding to sports in terms of NHL season and potentially a little collaboration. So we'll see what happens with that. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. And we'll see you all next week for the next week of predictions. Take care.